Hello friends, let us now learn some important points about parental nutrition. Parental nutrition is that nutrition which is given by IV route. So here we have two methods of delivery, routes of delivery of parental nutrition. One, we have peripheral route of delivery. Second, we have central route of delivery. Peripheral route of delivery is actually short term and it can be used only up to less than 2 weeks. You can use peripheral route of nutrition only for 2 weeks. The main advantage is it will avoid the central lining, whereas disadvantage is it can result in formation of thrombophlebitis, right? And central vein, if you wanted to know some points about central parenteral nutrition, here this central parenteral nutrition we will mainly involve subclavian vein is mainly preferred, followed by internal jugular vein, followed by femoral vein, but main preferred is subclavian vein. In central parenteral nutrition we have an approach called as we can use through below the clavicle, that is infraclavicular subclavian vein approach is preferred. Okay, now if we will see the total parenteral nutrition formulations. Total parenteral nutrition is of two types. Two types of formulations are available: solutions with lipids and solutions without lipids. If you see the solutions with lipids, these are 3 in 1. That is, we have, first we will see solutions with lipids. Okay, in solutions with lipids we have, it has 3 in 1, that is 60 20 20. That means around 60% of dextrose is present and we have 20% of amino acids and 20% of fats are given in this solution with lipid, right? So this solution with lipid is actually used as a primary therapy. It can be used as primary therapy in either you can use it in GI cutaneous fistulas or renal failure, short bowel syndrome, if there is acute burns, hepatic failure, Crohn's disease, anorexia nervosa. In these cases we can use it as primary therapy. Then the second type is solution without lipids. Solution without lipids is 2 in 1 solution, and here we give 75 by 25, that is 75% of dextrose is given and 25% of amino acids are given. If this is without lipids, obviously you will give, there will be no lipids. So this is mainly used as a supportive therapy. It is used in acute radiation enteritis, in acute chemotoxicity we will use this, or if there is prolonged ileus, or if there is a history of if you see weight loss preliminary to surgery, then we can use this solution without lipid. So solution without lipid is used in acute radiation enteritis, acute chemotoxicity, prolonged ileus and weight loss preliminary to surgery. Now we will see the complications of total parenteral nutrition. In the complications of total parenteral nutrition, first those related to nutrient deficiencies. That means it can cause hypoglycemia, or it can cause hypophosphatemia, hypokalemia, hypomagnesemia, or deficiency of nutrients can be there, trace elements and zinc can be there, and these are deficiency due to complications due to deficiency. And we also have complications due to overfeeding. That means if we give excess of total parenteral nutrition, then this can lead to hyperglycemia. It can cause hyperosmolar dehydration because of increased electrolytes. It can cause hypercapnia, fluid retention can occur, and it can result in dyselectrolytemia. Then if we give excess of fats, then obviously there will be hypercholesterolemia and hypertriglyceridemia is seen, and this also increases the risk of hypersensitivity reactions. Then if we give excess of amino acids, then this can cause hyperchloremic metabolic acidosis can occur, and it can also cause hypercalcemia, or it can cause uremia can occur, or even aminoacidemia, that is increased amino acids can also be seen. Sometimes there can be sepsis which is related to catheter. There can be catheter related sepsis can be there, or there can be increased risk of systemic sepsis can be seen, right? So sometimes, especially at the time of insertion, there can be some complications which occur at the time of insertion. At the time of insertion, sometimes this can even rupture the lungs or pleural cavity, causing pneumothorax. They can cause injury to the artery, or they can cause air embolism into the blood vessels, or they can cause injury to the thoracic duct, or they can cause pleural effusion also. So these are the complications which are related to insertion. On long term use, they can cause venous occlusion and thrombosis can also be seen. So if you were asked two lines, one liners, what is the most dangerous complication associated with central venous catheterization, then that is pneumothorax. Then what is the most common complication which is associated with central venous catheterization, then that is catheter related sepsis. Thank you for watching.